Okay, here we are in the sacristy. Isn't that interesting? Sacristy. Now that first part is related to the word sacred. So a room which is holy or sacred. Only reason is because the items that we use at Mass, which we are blessed, we call them sacred because of their use during the Eucharist, are kept here in the sacristy. So all of the items for Mass are here. Would be all of the items we need, plus the robes, plus books, plus everything. So everything's usually in a sacristy. Usually the sacristy in the past used to be in the front, because in the old rite, which is more than 60 years ago, the priest came out of the sacristy from the side. Now just think about that. In our churches, at least 3 of them, you'll see something by the little side door of that sacristy. And what is there? There's a bell. It's on a chain, and you ring that bell. So that was how you told the people that Mass was beginning. Obviously, we don't do that anymore. What we do now is we process from the back. We have an opening song, and we do it that way. So where is the sacristy located now? Usually in the back of the church. Even though, and the only church that doesn't have a sacristy in the back is St. Mary Stockbridge. Otherwise, the other ones have accommodated that. So, what is kept here? All these things that we use. Now, this is called a chalice. Okay, this is where the precious blood is kept. Usually it's made out of metal, and it's gilded with gold in here. And the reason for the gilding of the gold is to kind of seal it too, so that sometimes wine is acidic, so it doesn't work on the metal. So that's why they use usually gold on the inside. And it's just a gilded type of thing. As you see, many different types of chalices have different decorations, different stones, different arrangements. Some are simple, some are a little more exotic. Many times these have been donated in the memory of a family. So many times. So if you look under the bottom here, you might see a name. This one does not have a name, but many times you'll see. So it'll be donated in the memory of it. Now, there is also a ciborium. Now, that looks very similar to a chalice, doesn't it? It looks very similar. But what's the difference? This one's got a cover. So if it's got a cover, it's a ciborium. If it doesn't have a cover, it's a chalice. All right? So that's how you tell the difference. So when you look at the top, you'll see there is a rim for a cover. There is no rim on here. So that's what makes this a ciborium. A ciborium is for storage. It stores the consecrated host in the tabernacle. Now, they come in different designs. You'll notice this is more like the chalice. And the reason for that was, again, similarity, connection between the two, but also depended upon the type of tabernacle, which is where you keep the Eucharist in the church. They come in different sizes and heights. The tabernacle here in Sherwood does not fit this ciborium. It's a smaller tabernacle, so we don't use the ciborium. We use this ciborium, which is a lower one, has a cover, and we place the Eucharist in there. It also can be stacked, so we have 2 or 3 of these. So the reason for this type of ciborium is really practical. This one fits into our tabernacle. This one does not. So now you'll notice that this resembles the plate. Now, this is a transition in the sense that here is the chalice, and here is where the bread. The bread usually goes into a plate. We might call that a paten, but a paten is a little bit smaller, so the plate is open. Now, one of the transitions that is happening is that now with the virus going on, the church is going to, when we put this out as gifts, going to have a cover on this now. So that's going to transition this too. Many times these came about out of practicality. A chalice was a cup that people used to drink. So that's how that came about. A plate was where people ate. So it is a meal. So it's a sacrificial meal, the Eucharist. So that's what came about. So obviously we're in transition, and probably now in the future, the Eucharist will be kept in here, will be brought forth as a gift with the wine and the flagon, and they come in different sizes and shapes, and carried forth as the gifts. The wine we get from a religious distributor. Now, this is pure California wine. Now, what the church asks is that the wine that you use is pure grape wine. Many wines, for instance, New York wines, they add sugar to it because of the type of grapes they have. So the church asks that you have pure grapes, and that's why this is said it's approved, because it's pure grape. The other thing that we use is water. And again, for two things. Once to wash my hands, and the other thing is to add that to the wine. The reason for doing that was originally the wine that was used was homemade wine, and that wine could become pretty potent. So that the priest wouldn't get intoxicated, what they said is, we dilute the wine a little bit, so you dilute the alcohol content, and so hopefully then that the priest would not, as he finished the cup, would not be intoxicated. Also, it's also a spiritual reason too. They reasoned that Jesus' blood and water flowed from his side when he was pierced in his side at the crucifixion. So that connection there. So these are the items that are used and stored here in these cabinets here. You'll see other chalices and ciboriums. One other thing is there's hosts here. Here's how we get our hosts. They are made by the sisters and all pre-wrapped and everything like this, so they're sealed. So all of that type of thing. We get large hosts in a different container. You can see these are the ones that the priest uses at Mass, so you can see the host, the Eucharist, the bread. And also we kept in here are the little pyxes, which we use for distribution of communion to the sick. So you're taking communion like to your mother or dad that was not with a sick, you would receive a pyx like this, and then you would take communion to them. Pyx is a Greek word that means little box. And so that is how the Eucharist is delivered to the sick. Thank you.